Welcome to the Irish Craft Beer Show. My name's Brian Condren. Well, today you join me on location. I'm at Alfie Byrne's pub on Earthford Terrace for the National Homebrew Club of Ireland's National Championships 2015. It's the third annual National Championships. It's the largest competition for homebrewers in the island of Ireland and one of the largest homebrew competitions run to BJCP rules outside of the United States of America. So highlighting the year for the homebrewing community, and pretty much everyone will agree. This competition, we're allowed not just to submit our beers for judging and for feedback, but it's also a great day for just hanging out and socialising with people who share similar interests to you. And of course, the, shall we say, friendly banter that happens when the results are being announced, especially when it comes to the Club of the Year. Come on, Capital Brewers, we can do it this year. So I went along to film today and to try and pick up some of the atmosphere, but I'll let Club President Rossa O'Neill take you through the vital statistics of the day. Over to you, Rossa.
Rossa O'Neill, Competition Director and National Homebrew Club President for 2015. So we're here at the finale of the National Brewing Championships. Second leg. First leg was in Galway 2 weeks ago. And today we're judging with 12 categories, about 300 beers, with 40 judges, 20 stewards and about 8 staff, all running around getting everything ready for the best of show. That happens about 6 o'clock this evening. So we started this preparation for the competition in December last year, looking for a suitable venue that could house 40 plus judges, 20 plus stewards, and somewhere that had a cold room. So we really had quite a struggle on our hands to find somewhere in Dublin city centre that could look after us in that respect. But the guys in Galway Bay came up trumps with us and really looked after us with our first leg in the Oslo and our second leg here in the Conrad. So once we had our venue, we nailed down our maximum number of entries we could take, which was 600 this year. It's very much dependent on how many judges we have. 40 judges in Dublin, 20 judges in Cork. And we kind of felt 600 was the maximum we could handle. Any more, and you're pretty much going to need a truck to carry the guts of 1,200 bottles around the country, and that's just on a scale that we're not ready for just yet, you know. When it comes to the judges, we have an awful lot of club members stepping up this year, which is fantastic. Judging is something that people don't necessarily think they can do, but in fact, we have a lot of very, very good brewers who can bring an awful lot of knowledge to the judging process and to basically help struggling brewers and sort of brewers who might need a little helping hand in their entries and steer them on the right path to making better beer. So once we had all that set up, we opened entries on 1st of January and we closed on the 8th of February with about 462 entries, I think it was. Mainly from Ireland, some from UK, Scotland, Liverpool, I think Manchester as well. We gathered all the bottles up on Valentine's Day. We had a great crew relabeling them all in a warehouse in Clonard, thanks to the warehouse of Premier International, who have really looked after us again this year with a super prize that we might talk about later. So once we had all the bottles labelled, relabelled, and crated, next week John O'Connell brought those entries that were going to be judged in Galway to the Oslo to give them a few days to settle, and the rest stayed in situ until this week, where they were brought to Alfie Byrne's here to be judged. So the first leg took place in Galway on the 21st of February, non-rugby weekend, just to be sure. We'd have all our judges, myself included. So we knocked out about 150 beers that day, approximately 12 categories, I think. Medals pretty much awarded in all those categories. Quite a high standard, I think. The more unusual styles were judged there, kind of the fruit beers, the speciality IPAs, wood-aged. So sort of beers that brewers really get their teeth into, you know, experimentation being the key here. And some very, very, very good scores, very high standard, I think, in that respect. In Dublin, we're back to the more traditional styles, where the standard can be a little bit up and down, we should say, to be politically correct. But we tend to have a lot of entries in IPA, red ales, stouts, and pale ales, which are kind of more beginner categories for most people. When they're only getting up and running, they tend to enter those categories, make those beers, because they're not that hard to make, one would think, but in fact, it turns out they can be very hard to make, especially well. So, but that's what it's all about. It's about education, it's about putting those guys on the right track to making better beer, and hopefully they can take their feedback from the competition and put that into their brewing and improve their brewing skills overall. So this year's top prize is thanks to Premier International and Beer Heaven. Dean McGuinness in Premier International has supported us over the years, and it's been absolutely fantastic. And he's come up trumps this year with an incredible prize: a trip to Delirium Tremon's Brewery in Belgium, accommodation, flights paid for, and a trip. Part of the trip is to the Brussels Beer Festival, which is a VIP pass into that, which it sounds absolutely amazing. So it's a prize many brewers would dream about, to be honest, really, really would. So on top of that, gold medal winners are getting bags of grain from the Homebrew Company, Homebrew West, and Getter Brew. So thanks very much to them for looking after us for the gold medal winners. On top of that, obviously, it's the most coveted medal in the country, the National Homebrew Club National Homebrew Championships medal. Only minted a couple of weeks ago. Not so many in circulation, so they should be highly sought after.
So have you entered anything yourself this year?
I've one or two entries in myself. It's kind of funny. Sometimes you think your beers are great. Sometimes you think they're okay. But when someone else judges them, you really get a bit of honest feedback. And that's what every brewer needs. So I did win a couple of medals, but for beers that I didn't think were my best work, you know. So I kind of thought some of the beers I put in the porter category and the miles were really good. But, well, you know, I'm not going to complain. I won a couple of medals, so I got to be happy with that.
My name's James Keane, Secretary of the National Homebrew Club, and welcome to the National Brewing Championships here. To give you kind of a lay of the land here, the different categories are being judged at different tables by judges. Those judges check the score sheets, check the numbers. Then the stewards then take the score sheets from them. The stewards then check the numbers and they hand them through to Kelly, who's checking the numbers over there. And Kelly checks, then she double checks everything and hands it to Brian, who Brian is our checker for the day, our number checker. We've introduced an extra layer to the whole melee, if you like, and he's doing checking, and then that gets passed on to Vinny, who's the registrar for the day, who doesn't have any beers entered or anything like that, and he's on the computer, and he's the last person who checks final check, and then he puts it into the system. So there's like a number of different layers along the way. Should eliminate all mistakes. So no mistake can happen here today. What could possibly go wrong? No, but it's going well. It's going very well. And I think one of the big pluses here is there's so many judges. With 40 judges and 20 odd stewards, it means that our round one has been very big. We've been able to get through a lot of beers. So the vast majority has been judged already. We've only one or two categories left in the afternoon for round two, and a few round ones to finish off, and then on to the mini best of shows, and then the best of show, and then our award ceremony. So I think we're bang on track. We were a little bit slow in some of the judging, but because we had so many judges, it kind of that absorbed the bit of time. So I think we're actually back on track. So all looking good.
Well, I think it's that if it is an English East, maybe that's why it's really promoting the malt. So the hops are there, it's a hop aroma. But I think the East does take more than
I'm curious to know how this beer would do if you put it into an English ale.
They might then go ahead and say it's too much American hops, you know?
There isn't really. They're not big citrus hops. They're not obviously American. They're orangey. They're marmaladey. They're perfumey lavender. They're not really typically American. They're not typically not American.
The yeast really showcases the malt. Malt is ready.
Yeah.
It's not no sweetness, no cloyingness. It's a nice dry beer, drinkable beer. You can drink pints of it.
The only major flaw is the oxidization, really.
Yeah. That's like we don't know how old the beer is. Or maybe that's an issue. Maybe it's an old bottle.
It's probably Brian's beer.
You're in good
time, this is going to be a really, really highly scoring beer. It's in the upper 40s. American IPA, amazing flavour and aroma and balance.
So the last couple of years I was steward, so I got to taste all the beers. This year I want to give my opinion, and it's been a great day.
So how are you finding it?
I found the toughest part is critiquing the good beers. It's very easy to judge a bad beer, but when we were given some stunning beers earlier on, and to be able to pick little flaws or slight changes that you may consider tweaking the recipe a bit, that's hard work. So you can't give everybody 50 points.
So what's the overall standard been like? It sounds high.
Pretty good, yeah. Some of the other tables don't seem to have been lucky as us, but we got some lovely beers. There was one shocker. It tasted it wasn't so much the taste, but it smelled like a rubbish bin. It smelled like last night's takeaway and last week's vegetables were scraped into a bin, and you opened it and you took a big whiff of it. So it wasn't great, but tasted okay. That was a poor beer. Everything else has been middling to excellent, to be honest. Another beer that was obviously in the wrong category. Dark brown beer in American Pale Ale with no hops. But the other pale ales that we had were excellent.
Hello, Brian. How you doing? You're going to ask me the obvious question. Actually, how is the style going for 9D? Not great. What are the faults we're discovering, Connor?
A lot of fermentation flaws, overly hot fermentations.
Yeah.
We got one beer there, a lot of DMS in it.
Yeah.
Big, like opening a can of Green Giant.
Unfortunately, actually. Yeah. But not just some basic kind of flaws, really, which are a bit disappointing because obviously, what you have is got some really good base recipes and actually some fundamental flaws either in fermentation or in their technique, which are actually obviously letting down the style. So accordingly, you're potentially getting a kind of beer that potentially should be scoring 35 and it's getting 25 or even 20. So just a bit disappointed really, actually. Yeah. But keep trying, folks. That's the way to do it.
I find that stuff dissipates really quickly though, so I'm just...
There was plenty more judging stories to be told, but there's only so much I can fit into one episode. Thanks to everyone who volunteered their opinions to the camera. Certainly a wide range of quality of beers experienced today, but overall those who've judged each of the 3 annual competitions say that the standards are improving. In some cases more than others. I'll post a link to the overall results in the show notes or maybe on the screen right below. But between Galway and Dublin there were 21 gold medals, 24 silver medals and 24 bronze medals awarded, as well as the best of show. Fortunately I had to leave before the results were announced, so I have to say thanks very much to Ruben Gray who stepped up and took over the filming. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Next month we have an extra special one coming up as John the Beer Nut Duffy takes us on his tour of all the historical breweries in Dublin City. More than just a big G. So I'll let James take out this episode with some of the medal winners. Really regret missing the awards ceremony, but if I read it before now, I certainly regretted it when this happened.
In third place, Brian Condren. Where's he? Where's Brian? Bronze medal.
He's gone.
He went home? How could he go home? He was here a minute ago. Okay, no worries. Went home first. I thought he had a burrito at lunchtime. Okay, whatever. Schneider, second place with silver medal is Mr. John O'Connell. And the gold medal for a dry cider, Gesumt. Gesumt is fellow club member, Mr. Peter O'Brien. Well done. Gold medal cider. In silver medal goes to Brendan Murphy. But before I announce the top 3 beers, let me quickly announce the club trophy. And the club trophy, do we have a club trophy? Yeah, we have it.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Just want to see if it's here behind me, that's all. The club trophy this year closely contested by North County. Unfortunately, we didn't get there. It's a fix. The club trophy is awarded to Capital Brewers in Dublin. Come on up, guys, come on up.
I want to thank Hector. Hector, we wouldn't do this without you, Hector. Thank you, Hector.
Shane is actually offered to buy a pint for all the different Capital Brewers. That's very nice of him. And I think he said he'd buy a short as well, actually, didn't he? Okay. Now, the best brewer is calculated by the number of medals and divided by the number of entries, so it's a pretty fair way of doing it. But this year, the best brewer is, and you probably guessed it by the number of medals, is Mr. Rossa O'Neill. Closely challenged by Brendan Murphy. Sorry, Bren, you got it last year, can't have it every year. Well done, brilliant brew. Sorry, best of shows, better categories. Went through to mini best of show, went through the best of show. Those 24 beers then got judged again. So they had to go through so many levels of judging and had to beat so many other quality beers. Of all the gold medals, all those gold medals got judged together in the best of show, and they went through 1, 2, and 3. So to say the competition is tough is an understatement. It's absolutely ridiculous how tough it is to get through to the top 3 beers. The winner is, with first place in best of show, the best winning beer, who's going to be on a very VIP trip to Belgium and all the stuff. Who is it? Who is it? That Dean did explain the whole tip was. The winner is, with a Weizenbach, Mr. Richard Luma. Well done. Well done. Fantastic. You beat off so many beers. You have to give a speech.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Don't forget your mother.
I'm truly honored and humbled. I'm overwhelmed that the judges here thought this was the best beer today, but I'm far from the best brewer. The competition is unparalleled, and yeah, cheers! Of nothing else. Cheers!
Thanks a million, Richard. Honestly, you deserve it. It was a fantastic beer. I actually had the privilege of tasting those beers because Dean called in sick because of his leg thing. What? Come on. But no, fair play to you. It's a brilliant beer and well done. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap things up now, and thanks a million for another great year of brewing. As you know, it's a volunteer effort. There's 60 plus volunteers here today. Never mind what we had the 40 plus in Galway, where 1/3 of beers were judged. A big round of applause for Dean McGuinness from News Talk and all that. Without Dean, his logisticals, we bring all the beers to Central Ireland and we strip them all down the labels and put new labels on, and he helps out with all that. He does a ton of work with all the different off licenses, all in the background. Gets no real credit for it, so a big bull bus for Dean. Thanks a lot, Dean. Okay, folks, so thanks a million, and please put into your beers next year. Thanks a lot.